for being here. I hope that you are having a good new year and that you have a lot of exciting things that you are making or planning to make. I have been working on getting up this video for a while now. I was getting a little closer to being consistent, but just a lot has been going on. Last year was a really big year for my mental health, and I somewhat was diagnosed. There's still a lot that's being figured out, but I kind of got my diagnosis for ADHD, and in the midst of that and going back to school, which is how I kind of figured out that I needed to go and really get checked out. I've been on medication tests and trials, and it's not been a lot of fun because I've not found one that helps me yet. And so what it does is takes all of the symptoms and ways that I normally struggle and really magnifies them. So not a good time and not a great state to be in when I am filming. I've thought about just making some changes to my channel, taking a more casual approach, maybe a vlogging approach. That being said, I do have some goals, which I will talk about in this video, because I did set a make 9 for this year, which is really exciting. I'm not going to hold myself fully accountable for it if I don't finish something, and I think that most people are that way. It's just nice to have some kind of plan. I also really like, you know, the idea of ticking things off a list. It makes me feel accomplished when I don't have many ways that I feel like that these days. But I have a lot that I am excited to get to, a lot of projects that I've been really getting out of my comfort zone with. I will talk about some of my finished projects before I jump into my make 9 because I want that to kind of be the focus of this video. But I am wearing one of my finished projects, and it is a sewing project, obviously, but it is the, oh, I will put it up. It's the famous McCall's pattern that everyone makes, and now I see why, because the pattern is amazing and it's so easy to follow. The only thing I don't like about this one is my fabric choice, which is kind of, I just made it because I had some extra of one of my other finished projects, but it is this heavy cotton sateen that I found at Joann Fabric, and it's very beautiful, but it is very heavy, and it has the whole like make a lot of noise. It's very structured, so it looks a little stiff when I'm standing up, and I have to kind of either wear something under it, or I will have to tack it because it kind of stands away from my body. So we'll kind of see how if this grows on me or not. I think it will be fine to wear over long sleeve shirts. I have it over a t-shirt today, and I kind of like that, so I'm not counting it out. But I loved making the pattern, and I'm really looking forward to making it in some more approachable, casual, everyday fabrics. Speaking of this fabric, I originally bought it to make the Bisque Trousers by Vivian Xiaochin, and that was another pattern that I really loved and really enjoyed making, and I feel great because I actually made them fit me, which is a first in pants, and it was a labor of love. I pretty much made them and then tore them apart to alter them, but they are finished and fit, and now I have a better idea of what I can do in the future to better alter my pants, and that's just always really exciting to wear clothes that fit you. I have one more sewing finished project, and that is the Isabella top by Hubbarding Patterns. I really enjoyed this pattern. Again, it's a very easy, beginner-friendly pattern. I believe most of her patterns are, if not all of them, but she has a great shop, and I bought this pattern a long time ago and just didn't really get to it, but the reason I decided to revisit it was because the plan was always to have it as a piece to wear under knit vests. It has some really awesome statement sleeves. There is a peplum, so I hope that won't become an issue under my knits, but for now I just wanted some really nice sleeves to come out of some of my knitwear, and I think that will be a great top for that. I also have a knitting finished project, which is my Cumulus top by Petite Knit, and I used a Cascade Superfine cotton for this one, and I was really feeling it. It looked really nice knitting up, and then I got it off the needles, and the cable I was using was too short to actually try on, and it is so wide and short. I should have known better. I knew that it looked a little big, but I thought it would be just big enough to be a more comfortable wear, maybe be a little nicer to me when I wear it, but it is not. It is very big and boxy, and unfortunately I have started frogging that. Also, I was really not expecting the nightmare that is frogging an I-cord, but I do plan on giving that a round two. Some other finished projects I have were 2 winter hats for my kids. So with all of our warm weather in December, it kind of snuck up on me that I didn't think they had any winter hats that fit them. So I was able to finish up a couple right in time for our first snow day, which was nice. For my sons, which I am currently unaware of the location of, I used a poke hat, which is a free pattern I found online by a designer. I believe her name is Mrs. Ludecki, but I will put that up as always. And this just was so cute when I saw it, and my kids are obsessed with Pokemon right now, and I knew that he would love it, mainly because of the Pokeball pom-pom I thought was so cute. But it was a really nice pattern. She even included a really comprehensive pattern for the Pokeball pom-pom, which was nice because it has been a while since I've made a pom-pom, and you can kind of tell they look a little worse for wear, but if for some reason they fall off or get worn out, I can always remake them or try again with the next hat. But for my daughter, I recently bought this collection from Lovecrafts by the designer Mila Mia. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but there is a collection by this designer that is called the Curiouser collection, I believe. It is based on Alice in Wonderland, and I initially fell in love with this cute little cardigan wrap and immediately knew I wanted to make that for her. And I saw that there were some really cute accessories and just shapes and patterns in the collection, so I decided to just purchase the whole thing. It would be more economical that way as well. And a part of that included the Lilja Hat, which is super cute. And for both of their hats, I used the Cascade 220 Superwash Sport. I don't remember what colors were used on my sons because it's yarn that I've had in my stash for a long time when I was going to make stockings out of it. But I just bought some of this for the other projects in that collection. So this beautiful blue is Alaska Sky, I believe, and then I used Ruby Red. I forgot what white I used, probably Aran or Natural, and then just their black. And for the pink, the pattern actually uses a deeper kind of mauvey pink, which was really gorgeous, but I had that light pink on hand, which is called Cream Puff. So I went ahead and just went with what I have to kind of be a stash buster. That's always nice. And I just really liked how this turned out. She really enjoys it, and I'm super excited to try out other parts of that collection. I think they'll be super cute together. So before I get to my works in progress, I have one more finished object that I have been talking about a little bit, and that was my tiny patroclus. I finished that, and that was so much fun. I talked a little bit about how I needed something as kind of a palette cleanser between my knitting and sewing, and this was just the perfect project to pick up and really be intentional and have to focus on it, and it kind of forced me to take a step back and really breathe, which is what I needed to do, and just create something a little different, something to just look at and not have to fit to my body, which was also nice. So I have that up now on my shelf, on my bookshelf, and it looks really nice sitting there among all the books in a nice little frame. It looks a little odd in its frame still. I need to figure out how to better kind of frame them or ways to work them into my decor because I definitely plan on making more. That was just a lot of fun. I also wonder if there are a couple of things. Obviously I'm a beginner. I did cross stitch a little bit when I was a lot younger, but it was more start a huge project that I thought was really pretty and just do a fraction of it and never finish. I do know a little bit of the technique, but one thing I know I am definitely not doing right is the back. I've watched a little bit of FlossTube here on YouTube and seen some people's work, and when they turn their work around, I'm amazed. It looks so neat and clean. I actually have one that I started working on after I finished that. It's from the same shop, The Stitch Patterns, on Etsy, and it's called The Flaming June, and I will put a picture of the original artwork that inspires it up. But this is the miniature version, and I have quite a bit of that done, but when you turn my work around, I mean, I feel like I've done worse, but I've seen people turn their work around and it just looked completely clean except for just the little stitches, and I'm amazed. That's witchcraft to me because I don't know how you would even go about doing that. I have one work in progress that I can share now. The others will pertain to my Make 9, but I made some more progress on my Anna's cardigan My Size by Petite Knit. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here. There you go. It's a nice eyelet patterned cardigan, and it's worked flat, which is why I, build up a lot of steam on it and then need to kind of take a break because it gets a little monotonous, so it's nice to have another project to kind of go between. I just finished one of the sleeves, which was another one of my, I had another moment where I was just chugging along and knitting it, and then I looked at the pattern picture, which I hadn't done in a while, and realized, wow, that sleeve tapers off pretty quickly. I bet there were probably more decreases, and realized I hadn't decreased at all to like about here. So I had to rip that out a couple times and work with that. But once I decided to actually read the pattern, as one does, it knit up pretty quickly, and it went a lot faster with decreases. Imagine that. Okay, so for my Make 9, I'm going to keep my notes here close because knowing me, I will forget. So for my first Make 9, it might be a little cheaty, but I'm going to put it on here anyway, and that is my Caledonia coat by Crystal Seyfarth. I haven't done very much on this one yet, and I feel like it's going to be one of those projects that is going to take a lot of time. It's a big project, it's Fair Isle knitting, and it's in the kind of yarn that I'm not used to. It's very rustic yarn, so I am using this when I need to take a step back and just be very slow and intentional with my knitting. I've made some more progress since I last showed it because I kind of got in the mood to switch it up a little bit, but I've added, I'm on my second row of what will be like a folded under edge. So I can already tell this is just going to be a large project and something that I want to really take my time and savor. It's definitely not one I want to rush or have to rip back or frog. Oh my goodness. But I'm going to keep that on there, and I'm hoping that I can have this done by fall this year. But it will be nice to just have something that I don't feel the pressure to just constantly get finished. And I hope by putting that on this list and in the running for stuff that I can work on this year, it will help me just really relax and take it slow with this one. Number 2 on my list is the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit. So this pattern is one of 2. I forget what the other one, I believe it's probably like a Cumulus blouse light or summer edition, but this one is the mohair edition. I plan on doing it in mohair, but there is still the possibility that I will use a fingering weight just because I want this to be a layering piece. And so if the mohair is a little too sheer, then I might want to bulk it up a little bit. I'm going to swatch that and kind of play with it. I've seen people do it in dark colors and layer it over white t-shirts without problem, it seems. So I have high hopes for that. I'm using a mohair that is new to me. I decided to try it while it was on sale on Lovecrafts. It is Southampton from Valley Yarns, and this is just a basic black mohair. I'm going to swatch it up together. You probably hold it double, I'm guessing, but I'm going to swatch it up and see if I like it, and if not, I also have some Cascade 220 fingering in the black on standby just in case I need it for that. Number 3 is a Nature's Cardigan by Ozetta Knitwear. I have really been liking what I've seen this designer kind of put out pattern-wise, and I couldn't really decide which one I wanted to do first, but I really liked the construction of the Nature's Cardigan. It looks really fun. It looked like it would be a really fun knit. I'm also really excited to jump back into some worsted projects because they're just a little more satisfying because they knit up so quickly. I actually got the inspiration for this one going through patterns on Ravelry because I saw where someone made it in this really gorgeous deep red, and I believe they used the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock worsted, which I've used in the past, but I've decided to try to kind of emulate that same feeling using Cascade 220 in their Heathers line. This color is Japanese Maple, and it's just a beautiful kind of earthy deep tone, but still vibrant enough that I think it will be a really gorgeous Nature's Cardigan. And something I already love about this project is that because there are pockets on it, she recommended that you do a pocket swatch before starting. So I have that here. I mean, how great is that? That's a surefire way to get me to actually swatch something. But yeah, I got Gauge, so I have started on the hem of that one. I'm really excited to get that one done. I think that will be a pretty quick project and will just be so fun to wear hopefully this spring, maybe through the end of this winter. For number 4, I have the Sawyer Pullover by Brooklyn Tweed Patterns. So something that I've been meaning to do for a long time now is to knit my husband an actual sweater. And I feel like this is the year to do it because I've really found my stride with knitting and I'm actually making projects that are wearable, which is which is good when you're making stuff that needs to be worn. But I'm meaning to kind of look through that. It's always overwhelming when you're just going out searching for a pattern and with just a general idea of what you need. So the idea of just looking for a men's sweater pattern is very overwhelming because I usually don't know where to start. But I've heard a lot of great things about the designers of Brooklyn Tweed, and there's just some really nice basic options that I knew would appeal to him. And I finally got him to sit down and look through some of the designs, and he decided on the Sawyer pullover. And I'm hoping to knit it with the Brooklyn Tweed yarn that is used for it, and it is in the color Wool Socks. That is definitely going to be on my list. If not the Sawyer pullover, if by some weird twist of fate, then a sweater for my husband. But that's the plan so far, and I'm excited to finally have something done for him because he deserves it. He will even sit through my videos after hearing me just go on and on about this stuff on a regular day, so I can't wait to get that done for him. For number 5, I have a shawl or a scarf. Now, because I've been planning this video for a while, when I was actually doing the planning for this, I didn't have one set in stone, but since the beginning of the month, I have made some pretty concrete decisions on what I will be doing. There are still some scarves that I'm really interested in, one of them being the Mellemskjorf by Anne Thunem. I probably didn't say that right, but that is a scarf that I saw on Inga's podcast of Knitting Traditions, and this scarf is so gorgeous. It's huge, and the color work is magical. And if you look through the projects page on Ravelry, I've not seen anyone go wrong with their colors. It looks good in everything. So that's definitely one that I want to get to at some point. But I think I'm going to go the shawl route first. And for that one, I have chosen the Yara shawl by Natasha Hornby. It's this beautiful shawl that incorporates mosaic knitting. I've never made a shawl. It's kind of an undertaking because you could be essentially knitting a blanket, but I don't think this one is going to be too crazy. I should have everything I need for it now. I actually put in my order at Blazing Needles yarn store in Utah. They were really helpful and got my order shipped out to me quickly. I decided to do one based on the green sample that she knit for it, and I am using a yarn that is completely new to me, and that is Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift. So the mosaic knitting is done mostly in these two greens, and you need a lot of contrast between them to kind of show the pattern. So because I had never seen these yarns in person, I was a little nervous about that it wouldn't work out, because I didn't know if it would be as dark as it appeared online, but I'm thinking that it will be okay. I will probably do a little swatch just to make sure. If not, then I might just go for a black colorway because I really want the pattern to pop. So the colors I'm using are this Pine Forest for the dark green, and then Fern for the lighter one. And then for the pops of yellow, I am using Old Gold and Scotch Broom. I've never knit with this. It does feel more rustic, like what I've kind of gotten used to using my Caledonia coat, the Crystal Safe Art yarns. So I'm glad that I have some reference to what it will be kind of like working with, but I have really high hopes for that. I'm really excited. Not just to actually knit it, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, but also to just have my first real shawl. It's one of those things that I was always nervous because I didn't know if I would wear it or, you know, use it in my wardrobe, but a shawl is pretty much a blanket that you can wear in public without judgment, so it's perfect for me. And I'm so excited to get to that. So I cannot wait to get that on the needles. Next up for number 6 is the Willa cardigan by Sari Nordland. This is one of those designs that's been in my favorites list on Ravelry since almost day one. I saw this one and I loved all of the cables and the baubles, and what's great about it is that it will also be teaching me a lot of new techniques because I've never done baubles before and I've only done very simple cabling. So I'm hoping that I will get a lot out of this project through the process and not just what I end up with. Number 7 is kind of vague, but kind of not, and that is I just want to do an Augustins pattern this year. So this is one of those designers who I have followed for a long time, and I absolutely adore everything she puts out, but I have decision paralysis when it comes to actually deciding. There are a few reasons. Some of the stuff is, while it's gorgeous, I don't always see me being able to wear out very much or just be brave enough to wear everything. I used to be very frilly, and I say that while I'm in this these huge sleeves and all of these ruffles, but I used to be a very frilly dresser, and I feel like I really stepped away from that, and now I'm looking for ways to kind of incorporate it back into my wardrobe a little bit just for some fun touches. But I have a few favorites from her, and that is the number 16, 7, and 14. So they are all numbered, but I love all of her fun collars. I think that they would be really great to throw under some of the jumpsuits that I plan to be making soon. Even something like this, where you just have a lot of space to kind of work with, I think would be a lot of fun. And I like all of the added kind of adornments. So you have your ruffled collars, and then you have the ties around the waist and all of the fun little motifs around the sleeves. They just seem like patterns that are going to be just as fun to knit as they are to wear. So definitely something I want to do this year. For my number 8, I have something a little different. I want to do a reconstruction of something that I already have. So either something that is knit up that I'm not wearing enough, or that I have frogged because I didn't like the original fit or shape, something about it maybe. The front runner in this category right now is my Soldotna crop. I love that pattern so much. I love the colors that are in my Soldotna. I love so much about it, but I don't love the shape. So when I made it, I did lengthen the crop, but because I was still kind of sticking to the original pattern, it was a little fitted. This, I think, is also because mine and Caitlin Hunter's gauge is different, and I just haven't taken the time to actually figure that out. But it was a pretty tight fit. So even though there's a little more length, it still fit like a tight crop top, and I don't have enough to wear with it. I don't just want to wear jeans with it. I don't have a dress I can wear under it, and because it's tight fitting, a dress would probably fit a little awkward underneath it. There are a lot of things that just work against it. So while I love it and I think it's gorgeous, I'm just not wearing it unless it's like under overalls or something, and I need to really reassess what I can do to fix that. I thought about making it into a vest, like making it just a completely new object, but I don't know, because I love how it is. I love the cap sleeves, which is so weird because I hate cap sleeves, but so much about that pattern works so well for me that I am going to tread lightly because I don't want to mess up what I love about it, but just make it even better, even if that just means knitting a bigger size or changing certain things about the fit. And finally, number 9 is a vest. So I have loved the idea of having a vest in my wardrobe for a long time, but I've just never really felt the urge to knit one. Not for any specific reason. I guess it just didn't really seem like something I wanted to do. I was always just drawn by all of these gorgeous sweaters, and then I tried to be more practical and go with cardigans, and now I really want some more vests. I love the idea of having something to throw over everything and either elevate a piece or make it a little cooler, just more casual but put together. And I think that there are so many gorgeous vests that would give me that option. So first is a casual one that I am really loving, and that is the Holiday Slipover by Petite Knit. I've seen this done so many different ways and it looks so good in every way. I think it would be gorgeous in so many different colors. I'm leaning towards a lighter color for my first one, but the possibilities are endless with that one. Next up is the Lana Vest by Irene Lynn. And I have seen this one here and there. Most recently, I saw it on Young Folk Knits podcast, and she made this gorgeous one. It's so beautiful. It has beautiful cable work, and it looks good in so many different colors. I think a nice kind of oatmeal or gray one would be really gorgeous to add to my wardrobe. But yeah, that is my Make 9 this year. I am glad to finally have been able to sit down in a better headspace and catch up a little bit. I had a lot to catch up on, and there's still some that I need to get to and share, but I think that this is a good spot to leave it today. I'm hoping to be around a little more in this new year. I can't believe we are in 2022. That doesn't even sound real. So just a lot to take in, and I hope that you are making it okay, that you are taking your time to really step back and breathe and enjoy what you're making or doing. And please feel free to share what you are making with me below. Reading recommendations as well are also welcome. I hope to talk a little more about that next time, and just thank you for being here, and I will see you soon.